Hello, guys, welcome to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with this report claiming that manager Xavi Hernandez will inform four Barcelona stars about their fate this week. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, in this episode, talking about Ferran Torres, as it have been reported that Barca are willing to sell the out of favor forward for just 20 million euros. We are also going to be discussing on that interesting report. So guys, as we get right into it in much detail, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. If you're just coming across the channel for the very first time, you are highly welcome. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Xavi will inform four Barca players who are not in his plans for next season about their fate starting from Thursday this week. This claim comes from Javi Miguel of AS, who reports that the four players who are unlikely to be at the club next season are Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Franquisi, and Pablo Torre, although the latter would only be loaned out. Talking about Pablo Torre. Barca need to make some major sales in the upcoming weeks if they are to meet the financial fair play requirements and go ahead with their transfer plans. As such, Ansu Fati has been one of the most strongly linked with an exit due to his popularity and potential. The 20-year-old has found game time very hard to come by under Xavi this season, and the manager's decision has been more than justified. However, last night, Fati showed that he can still be a quality player with his double against Mallorca, and there is plenty of interest in the Spaniard from the Premier League as well. Even though the La Masia ace wants to stay, Barca, via Xavi, will communicate to him that they think an exit is the best way forward for all parties involved, as he can start afresh elsewhere and the club can lighten their financial burden as well. As for Ferran Torres, he too has found himself in the same boat as Fati this season, finding minutes hard to come by. Even when he has featured, the Spaniard has not always been at the top of his game. As such, Barcelona are ready to take a loss on Torres and sell him for in between 20 to 25 million euros only. Meanwhile, the La Liga champions' decision to part ways with Franquisi is not based on sporting motives, but purely financial. Given that he arrived for free, any transfer fee that the Ivory Coast international fetches will be written down as net profit in the books. As for Pablo Torre, the young midfielder has hardly featured under Xavi this season, and his situation will not improve next season, with Ilkay Gundogan expected to join. Hence, Barcelona intend to loan him out, preferably to a first division club in La Liga, so that he can play regularly there and continue his development and also get some experience, especially in Spanish football. So this week is going to be a very, very crucial week if this report is to be believed, as Xavi is said to meet these four players or whatever players that their future still looks so uncertain, to discuss their fate with them, to decide and tell them what their fate will be like moving into next season, because it is very important that the manager meet these players so that they should already position their mind that, look, from here I'll be going surely, I'll be leaving, or I'll be loaned out, just to prepare their mind and not to be disappointed about any outcome. So I've been talking about Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Franquisi, Pablo Torre. Those are the players that a lot of reports have been talking about them and their future, which looks so uncertain. Of course, among those players, personally, I think Franquisi should stay. But what we are hearing from this report is, yes, they want to sell Franquisi not purely on sporting purposes. It's because of an economic standpoint of view. They want to make a net profit so that it can help the club scoffers. We quite remember Franquisi came in as a free agent, Barca spent nothing, and selling him will be just net profit, which will be registered in the books as net profit, and also it will help Barca go a long way to comply with the financial fair play rules in La Liga. That is why Barca, they want to also consider selling KC, which for me is harsh, but when we try to understand the reason for that, I think it's okay, as long as it will help our club in the future. When we look at things in the long term, I think it makes sense. So let's just see how it goes from here. Ansu Fati scored a brace. I was so happy about his performance yesterday. Honestly, he played well, especially from the first half. I don't know if he was trying to send a message to Xavi and the board that, look, I still have that qualities. Don't do a harsh decision right away, please. I think Fati was indirectly saying that by that performance, but it might just be too late. Guys, how do you think? I think it might just be too late. Maybe because Barca are right now on hot seat. When I talk about hot seat, I talk about the fact that the club is in a situation where they need to act fast. They need to do something financially. They need to bring up. They have to make decisions, very big decisions, because we need to balance the books. If not, we are going to have a very bad season, and Ansu Fati, unfortunately, might still be sold, especially as a lot of interest have been coming out in the Premier League. They might just come, especially United, who have been showing a lot of interest, Arsenal as well. They might come with some big money, and Barca will be tempted to sell. Then on to the final story of discussion. With just one game left in Barcelona season, manager Xavi Hernandez and the club's technical staff are already turning their focus to squad planning for the next campaign, with the La Liga champions needing to balance their books to achieve financial fair play. Sales will be necessary in the coming weeks. And one of the players who looks locked in to leave Barcelona this summer is Ferran Torres. Indeed, according to Javi Miguel of AS, the Blaugrana will be ready to sell the Spanish international for a fee of only 20 to 25 million euros. That would mean the club will be taking a huge loss on the 23-year-old, considering they paid 55 million euro for him back in January 2022. But Ferran Torres' time at Barca has not gone according to plans at all. Xavi had huge faith in the Spaniard, who was one of his first signings as the manager of Barcelona. While the former Manchester City ace showed glimpses of potential in the second half of last season, but left everyone frustrated due to his lackluster finishing. Things have gotten only worse for Ferran Torres this season, as he has constantly been on the periphery of the team, hardly featuring as a starter. Robert Lewandowski, Ousmane Dembele, and Rafinha are clearly ahead of the former Valencia man in the pecking order, and with La Liga champions hoping to add Lionel Messi, Yannick Carrasco, and Vitor Roque this summer, his prospects would further diminish. Hence, even though they will be taking a loss, Barcelona are ready to sell Torres for a fee of around 20 to 25 million. Newcastle United are one of those clubs interested in him, and the prospect of returning to England and playing for a Champions League club might convince Torres to sign or to leave Barca right away. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.